Hello, it's your boy, Dax Wolf, back again with another guide for everyone's pleasure. So initially this was going to be a video on a specific anti-flipping tech that I found. But I got told by several people that I should make a guide for the FRV in general, so I decided I should try and live up to their expectations of me. Over time, this project has ballooned in scope far beyond my initial intentions, and I learned so much that, well, that's why this is so long. Anyways, this is going to be a deep dive onto FRV. It is a high skill floor, high skill ceiling stratagem that took a lot of time for me to refine, but hopefully this video can help speed up that process for other people. Now, this video is going to be separated into several sections and subsections. The basics, advanced driving, hazards, loadout, and the mandated montage. Now, I know most of this will likely be self-explanatory, but I need to make sure that everyone's on the same page. First, the controls. I use an Xbox controller, but I'll mention the PS5 controls as well, and I'll have all three control schemes on screen. Getting in and out of the car is A or X. For driving forward, it's the right trigger. For reverse, it's the left trigger. For turning, it's the left stick, and for looking around, it's the right stick. For switching gears, it's the left and right bumpers. For switching seats, it's B or O. For using the handbrake, it's X or square. And honking is pressing the left stick down. Changing your headlights is a PC-only control, which is X on the keyboard. The main thing you need to remember for the basics is everything but gear switching, switching seats, the handbrake, and changing your headlights. The rest are for when you get into more advanced driving. Next, the gears. We have drive, drive 1, drive 2, reverse, and neutral. Drive is your all-purpose mode. You'll be using it the most out of all the gears. Drive 1 and drive 2 have a lower speed cap than drive and are meant for different situations. Now, what do I mean by speed cap? Well, when you hit a certain speed on any of the drives, or when you're in reverse, your acceleration drops off a cliff and slows to a crawl. You'll still steadily gain speed, but it's extremely slow. Drive 1 has a far lower speed cap, but it gains a higher amount of control even at high speeds. I'll go over some extra uses for Drive 1 in advanced driving. Drive 2 has a higher acceleration to a higher speed cap than Drive 1, but its acceleration after that is extremely slow. I cannot find any good advanced uses for Drive 2, unfortunately. Reverse is how you go backwards. Oftentimes you'll only briefly use it so that you can drive forward again after you hit something, but with more experience you'll end up using it in tandem with drive. Finally, we have neutral. It's niche at first, but with more experience it's definitely the best way to park. I'll go over this way of parking in the advanced driving section. Next, basic principles of general driving, or just basic driving for short. When it comes to general driving, it isn't the type of thing where I can tell you what to do specifically and you'll be able to do it. It's the type of thing you'll have to learn and feel out on your own, but I can give you some general guidelines and point to how to practice. When you're new to the car, you should generally keep your speed down and get used to the way the car handles, and gradually step up how fast you go until you're proficient. I would recommend practicing on maps with cities, or these type of planets while on low difficulties. These environments have obstacles, but generally are more forgiving when it comes to just driving around. Actual combat is far different than the low levels, but you need to practice so you can navigate at speed with the FRV. This is because enemies have been programmed to hard target the car, so you'll tend to get all the heat. If you can't drive very well, then when the focus is on you, it'll lead to a lot of destroyed cars and a lot of deaths. You may be asking, why do enemies hard target the car? It's because it's a very powerful stratagem in the right hands. So much so that initially the AI wouldn't prioritize you, and now they buffed the AI multiple times so that the enemies change how they behave when you're in the car. The reason why it's so powerful is because it buffs other aspects of play when properly utilized. For instance, it allows you to traverse distances that would take minutes on foot in seconds, making heavy armor viable and negating heat planet effects on stamina. Using this speed, you can carry things like SSSDs, essentially negating the one-handed weapon penalty. You can simply drive away if a situation gets too hot, despawning the enemies like how I often do in my challenge videos. You can go from objective to objective, parking then completing them whilst minimizing travel time, meaning you'll have more time for each individual objective. But the main benefit is to your team. Since you can transport them and or have them fight from the gunner seat, this can allow, say, a recoilless to ride shotgun and destroy bases as you drive past, preventing enemy counterattack, and then they can reload while on the way to the next objective. You can gather your team quickly if you get separated. You can drive by an objective, drop them off, and go do something else while always being able to quickly swing back by. And some team play aspects can be done alone via the seat switch, allowing you to be a pseudo one-man army. But that, however, is for the advanced driving section. Anyways, you need to practice in a safe environment because you need good muscle memory for when the actual pressure's on you. Again, this isn't the type of thing where I can tell you what to do and you'll be able to do it. That's why I'm telling you how to practice rather than what to do specifically. But I will give you some basic tips. These are general guidelines to help reduce issues, not hard rules. Disregard them when appropriate. Don't accelerate to a high speed when there's a lot of obstacles around. Slow down when going to turn. If you're not confident you can make it through a narrow gap, then slow down to a comfortable speed. Don't accelerate off of something that will make you airborne unless you know you'll land on your wheels. Avoid planets with spike plants, a lot of flip hazards, and slippery terrain until you think you're ready. Avoid the bot front until you think you're ready. The rockets, laser turrets, and mines will wreck you. A lot. Avoid harvesters unless you're already going at a decent speed. One of the AI buffs have made it so that they get solid accuracy when you're going below a certain speed. Avoid factory striders at all costs unless the top turret is destroyed. They are not to be trifled with, regardless of skill level. And finally, when your car comes off of cooldown, you should just replace it. Many of the times it'll be 1 or 2 hits away from exploding and you won't even know it. There's been so many times where I thought the car was fine, then I got deleted when the car would have lived if it was full health. So just replace the car. Next, pop the tires. Your tires have HP, and if they take too much damage, they will pop. Since it's inevitable that you'll be driving without them, I'll go over it since you'll need to know what to do regardless of your skill level. Generally, if you lose one front tire, you're fine. You'll just lose a lot of turning, and you may need to use the handbrake to make up for it. If you lose both, it's likely a lost cause because your turning is utterly shot at that point. If you lose a back tire, then you lose max speed and can't drive straight. The only 2 solutions to this is pop one of your front wheels by manually shooting it, or drive in gear 1. This doesn't guarantee you'll be able to drive straight, but it will stabilize it enough that you can limp away from the threat at hand. If you lose both back wheels, then it's likely a lost cause because you've lost all acceleration. If you lose all wheels, then I recommend against driving it further, since you have reduced turning, drastically reduced acceleration, reduced grip, and you'll drift constantly even if you're trying to go straight. It may be fun slip and sliding around, but if you're in a serious situation, then you'll need to get a replacement ASAP. Next, passenger fundamentals. For the basics of being a passenger, if you press and hold the left trigger, then you'll pop out the side of the car. You can shoot, and if you press and hold the stratagem button while still aiming, then you can input and throw stratagems. If you're in the car with 1 or more other passengers, then bear this in mind. They can shoot you, and you can shoot them. So if you don't know the people you're in the car with, then it may be in your best interest not to pop out unless it's extremely important. This is because if anyone dies, then the driver may have to stop to call anyone who's dead back in. So the safe option is just to stay inside. Also, if you have an explosive weapon, don't risk shooting over the top of the car. Because if you do, and the car hits a rock, or you shoot someone's bubble shield, or someone on the other side pops out, or the machine gun gets in the way, etc. You'll blow yourself and everyone else up, as well as possibly popping the wheels or just destroying the car outright. Just shoot out your side of the car, your driver will thank you. The reason I talk about this here is because of that pseudo one-man army strat I mentioned, and also it's important to know since you won't always be the driver. Most of the same applies to the turret in the back, except you're always exposed. So if you're with people you don't know, it may be wise to not get in that turret. And if the driver of the car parks it and gets out, then follow his lead unless he says hold position. The longer you stay in that car while it's at a standstill, the more likely it is that enemies will target the car. Again, they have extremely aggressive AI towards the car, so sitting in one that's not moving is a death sentence. Lastly, for the basics, we have parking and miscellaneous. All you have to do to park is find somewhere that's flat, slow to 0 kmh, and as long as it doesn't roll when you get out, then it should stay where you leave it. Now if it's not flat ground, then you need to park it against something, and if you're on a hill, then park it sideways with the hill. After parking, you should get away from it so that enemies don't attack it. I'll go over a second, better parking method later on. And for the miscellaneous things that need to be mentioned, you can run over and destroy certain terrain. Generally, if it's small and looks destructible, then you should be able to run over it. If you run into an enemy and they don't die, then usually you'll be forcibly turned in their direction, much like with destructible terrain. If the car flips and you don't have a means to flip it, then you need to get out and leave it. If a teammate has a means to flip it, then you can't be in the car when they do it, lest they accidentally kill you. Sometimes when picking up teammates, you'll need to drive away to prevent your own destruction, and if someone doesn't want to ride, then you need to leave them. As cold as it sounds, you'll have to do it. If you have the FRV equipped, then it's likely vital to your play, so you can't allow a let no good deeds go unpunished situation to happen. If the car is critical to your play, then it'll cripple you if it's destroyed, not them. If you fall into water, then you have around 5 seconds to get out of the water before it becomes undrivable, so try to avoid deep water. The last thing to mention is that for a few seconds after getting out of the car, enemies will continue targeting the car over you. So don't park the car out in the open while there's something like a harvester watching, or else bye-bye car. Before I end the basic section, I want to give you a concrete test to properly know when you're 100% ready to move on to the advanced stuff. If you feel you're ready without doing this, then that's fine, but if you want to be a Dax Wolf certified solid driver, then do this test. Do a level 6 on any faction on a non-mega city map alone. Do any regular 40-minute mission, but I would recommend specifically retrieve valuable data or retrieve recon craft intel, since it's basically the same mission across factions. And your goal is to call in the car at the beginning of the mission and have it last until you arrive at extract to leave. You don't have to do a full map clear, just get one car through the main objectives and then back to extract. This is the test if you have a good base of driving, as well as being able to avoid taking too much damage from threats, if you can park well and not lose the car or have it be attacked, and if you can navigate without flipping / losing the car. Whether you die or not doesn't matter too much. Just make sure the car can last the whole mission. If you can do that, then I think you're ready for the advanced section. Way back in December, 12 days after the car became a stratagem, I did this scenario on the bot farm. Level 6, and the car lasted the whole mission, even up until I made it onto the ship. I may have full map cleared, but I don't want to put extra stressors on people trying to learn to drive, since mine happened organically. Since I was able to do this in roughly 12 days of consistent experience with the car, that means it's very possible that, with what we've gone over, you can do it faster. Either way, it's realistically achievable to have happen in a short time. Also, a secret second reason for this test is to see how good your handle over base game mechanics are. Since you're driving up to an objective and parking, then going in on foot, you're being tested if you can operate solo with the base mechanics. This is because the one-man army strat naturally requires you to be able to hold your own at its base before introducing the car into the mix. So completing the test at its simplest means that you're at the baseline for the advanced strats. Completing it deathless, full clear, having it survive extract, and or having at least 5 minutes remaining means that you're more than ready to move on. Doing all of those at once means you likely should have moved on already. I tried this test out using everything I used back then on all the factions without employing any of the advanced strats, and I aced all 3 factions first try. Obviously, I'm extremely experienced with the car, so it's expected, but it also shows that you don't need the advanced mechanics, at least at level 6 and below. So when you feel ready to move on, try this test and see if you pass. And if you do, welcome to advanced driving.